Welcome to Titan HST's Business Continuity Today, hosted by Todd DeVoe, where planning meets reality.
Good morning. Welcome to Business Continuity Today. And over the last couple of weeks, there's been a couple of shootings that made the news that were outside of venues. One was a Knott's Berry's Farm, an amusement park located in Orange County, California. And the other one was the Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. And I don't know if you guys caught this on the news or not, but I want to talk about this a little bit. See, both events did not directly involve the venue. However, the misinformation, lack of communication, and general confusion inside the venue did occur. And today, we're going to discuss how and why it is critical to have a communications plan and how mass notification systems can play a role in executing your emergency operations plan. So I'm Todd DeVoe, and I've been involved in responding to emergencies and disasters since, 1989. In 1999, I started my journey into the field of emergency management. And while I was working in EMS, it's one of the nation's most active counties. And so I started out in the logistics section. I kind of really fell in love with it. And since then, I became an educator, teaching at the post-secondary level, and learning and sharing what I've learned is a big passion for me. So today, let's continue to learn together. Today, we're talking about why you need to have a mass notification system and a plan how to use it. So Knott's Berry Farm is a amusement park in Orange County, California, located in Buena Park. And it's located in an urban setting. In the area, it has known gang activity. Over the years, if you live in this area, it's not necessarily at the park itself, but some of the surrounding areas is a little bit dicey. So much so that I wouldn't really want to venture too far away from the park after the evening there. It's located in one very major intersection. And lots of traffic, lots of activity always in that area. There's no criminal activity in the area as well. And over the years, the Buena Park Police Department has done a really good job of cleaning up the area directly around it. However, there's still that going on. So that happens in that area. Let's talk about Washington Stadium for a minute, or the National Stadium, if you will. Again, that's located in an urban area. There was confusion at the stadium as well. There's confusion outside the stadium, and there was no communication. There's very little communications with the fans during this thing. Same thing with the park. There was confusion inside the park. There's confusion inside me right now. Confusion outside the park of not knowing what's going on. And there was again little communication with the park attendees. And because of this, rumors start flying. So let's take a look at some video that has been posted by some news agencies. This is a cell phone video. It's not the best, so please bear with us. And I'll do a little bit of description as we do it for those that are listening on audio only.
Was there a celebrity or something? What's going on? What? What's going on? Why was everyone running?
So as you see there, the guy is like, hey, is there a celebrity there? What's going on? Why is everybody running in one direction? I'm really kind of confused about that, right? And so he's still like, what's going on? What's going on? And then, I lost my video feed. And then
there's a shooter.
Where?
Please help.
So one little girl runs by, she yells, there's a shooter. She says, please help. And he's like, where? I don't know where. There's no direction on where the shooter is. I actually spoke to somebody who was inside the park, and she said that she was hiding in a corner. And again, not knowing anything that was going on. They weren't sure if the shooting was happening in the park. The rumors were that the shooter was inside the park shooting, which actually was not true. The shooting was outside of the park. But let's hear this part here where same guy in the video, he kind of gets to an area.
I don't understand. What's going on?
I don't know.
Why don't we just exit this way? Oh my God, there might.
So again, not knowing what's going on, randomly says, let's just leave this exit, not knowing if this is the exit that goes into harm's way or if it's a safe space or not, regarding the exiting of the park. Again, the confusion and no communication coming from park officials.
There might be a shooter here, guys. Hey guys, there might be a shooter. Is that really it?
again, in the park, not sure if there's a shooter or what's going on, and that's it. So now I want to bring us back. Let's stay at Asbury Farm for a couple more seconds, and we'll go over to Washington Stadium. So at the end of the day, what happened was there was a shooting, a drive-by shooting, gang activity. They believe 3 people were shot. 2 were outside the park, and 1 was actually a I guess a park participant, but no one. So anyway, long story short, there was a couple of people that were shot, and they're still investigating that case right now. So let's move into Washington Stadium. Again, like I said, it's located in an urban setting. Again, there's confusion inside the stadium, and there's confusion outside the stadium. I shouldn't say no communication. There's little communication with the fans, mostly over the PA system that they have, and then of course the jumbotrons, if you will, right? And then rumors again were being spread, as well as what the problem was. And so, and it ends up being the shooting was an exchange between 2 people in 2 cars. Metropolitan Police Department stated that, according to this is Associated Press, that the Metropolitan Police reported there was a gunfire between 2 people in cars. One of the people that were shot was a woman who was leaving the stadium. That was reported by the AP as well, citing the police report. She was taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. And then, so let's look at this real quick. Here is people jumping off the out of the seats onto the field. So the stadium is trying to get their attention as people are running off onto the field. And they stay inside there also that there's no need to go onto the park. Now, here are people they're still inside the park, but they're running in whatever direction they're running. They have no clue why they're running the direction. It seems to be that they're just following the crowd. Here they are again.
Please remain off the field. There is no reason to go onto the field at this time. Please remain calm and remain inside the stadium. The incident has been reported to be outside the stadium.
So there's a report right there, right? So the announcer says, "Hey, stay inside the stadium. There's no need to leave the stadium because the incident was outside the stadium." And then a few minutes later, they said, "Oh, okay, go ahead and leave the stadium." People were hiding behind the seats. They weren't sure what direction it was coming through. And from the reports, they're saying that it sounded like it was echoing throughout the stadium. One report said it sounded like somebody's doing fireworks inside the stadium. So, if you've been inside, sometimes it echoes across, and reports of sound is really hard to pinpoint with your ears, especially when it's echoing off of buildings and whatnot. So people were really kind of confused. People fled outside, they're saying covered behind their seats, and some others fled to the Padres dugout, going through there. And again, the stadium staff was having a hard time controlling the movement of people because they weren't even sure. The people weren't even sure where they were necessarily going. Crowd started to get up and leave before the announcement came over the loudspeaker, instructing the fans to remain inside the park, whereas actually, realistically, it was safer for them to be inside the park. But again, they did not have the fans did not have really direction coming from anybody. And minutes later, then they're told it was okay to exit. So mass notification systems. Now, there are systems that are out there that can be used. Now, this is obviously we're Titan HST, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about what our system can do in this case. If you are working with large crowds like this, one of the things that Titan HST does is we can put together a QR code so people can scan in. In fact, we can actually make it to where you're scanning in with your ticket, and as part of the ticket process that people can get, that will be logging into or being allowed to have messages sent to their text messages, where you can give direction on what's going on. A system like this is what's really needed to have when you're having mass gatherings. And this is something that I've been talking about for many years now. When I was at the university, we had, graduations, we had other events that are happening, Christmas events and things like this. And it's really critical for us to be able to communicate with our guests, not just the students and faculty that are already in our system. And so it's a really simple way to do it. Now, what we would do is put out QR codes around the area. Say, hey, please, if you want to have notification, you can opt in by scanning the QR code, and then when you leave, you no longer get notification because it's geofenced within inside this area. And if you're using this parks like down Knott's Berry Farm, stadiums such as the National Stadium that just happened. Those two places, those are systems that would work really well for those settings. Hey, everybody, if you guys are really interested in looking at what your mass communications plan is, you should be doing this today before you have an event, right? I just spoke the other day at the Safe Schools convention or conference, if you will. And at the Safe Schools conference, we talked about having a communications plan written out prior to an event. We have templates that you can use as well. You can put those in and utilize them by just changing a couple of words here and there. And so when the time hits, you're not remaking messages straight from the ground up. It's there. The template's there for you to use. It's easy to have the system that you can have those templates already preset in there that you can go in and just modify as you need to. And so send them out there to save yourself time and to save that process goes through. It's really easy to use. Now, I know producer Brian will probably say different to you guys, but I'm not necessarily a Luddite when it comes to computers. Well, maybe I am. But being able to use this system is easy, right? And if I can use it, if I can click a few buttons and send a message, anybody can do it, right? And I think it's something that's really simple to use. So if you guys are looking for a system to be used, and don't wait till after an event like this occurs in your place, because look at today, everybody, with all the political unrest that's happening around the country, with all the things that are happening, and disasters that could be occurring, the weather events that are going on, the fires that are happening in the Western United States, hurricanes and tornadoes on the East Coast. We really need to be pre-planning our communications plans. So please take a look at this. Please take a look at what we're doing. Please contact us here at Titan HST. You go to titanhst.com for information, and you can also email me if you'd like, which is tdevo@titanhst.com, and I'd be really happy to share more information with you as needed. Well, everybody, thank you for being with us today. And remember, visit Titan HST for all your communication needs. And remember to follow us on your favorite podcast player, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and join us next week. And until then, stay safe and stay hydrated.